Going once, going twice, sold! You're listening to The Property Pod.
Welcome back to The Property Pod, your easy to listen to and accessible way into the real estate market. I'm Aaron, your host, and I'm joined by Patrick and John, who are socially distanced, but we're all in the same room.
Feels good to be back.
It's great. Oh, Pat.
I'm excited.
Some clapping sounds to either edit in or out.
Where's the applause button on your tab there?
I got rid of it.
Look, it's exciting. We're all back together in the same room. It's been so long.
It's funny because I can feel the energy is a completely different vibe having J-Mac back. Like rather than we spend 20 minutes working out our audio as we normally do.
Yeah.
And you're in the other room kind of just sitting there just being like, I wish the boys would sort this out. Jeez, this is wasting my time. It's good that we got to all do that together today.
Yeah, exactly. It feels so much better when we're all making mistakes in the same room.
I want to jump straight into something today. I know that we got in a little bit of strife mentally, internally. We were worried the other week that we'd lost our mojo. I can happily report that I have some listener feedback.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm just going to play the audio grab of what I've got. So just listen along to this.
All right.
This is Aaron's Nan speaking, and I'm pleased to announce that I think you boys have got your mojo back, and I'm really excited to hear what is coming up on your next podcast because I enjoyed the special guest you had last week that told me quite a few things that I didn't know. Not that I need to know anything else because I won't be using it. So good luck for your next podcast.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Nana's reached out. I've asked her
Thanks, Nana.
for some honest feedback. I wanted to know if we'd flattened the curve, whether we'd lost our mojo, found our mojo, and it turns out our mojo's intact.
I think and especially if you're learning something when she doesn't need to use it and still enjoying it, how could you not be happy with that result?
What I want to know, Nana, did Aaron have cards that he was just holding off to the side and he's putting the cards down so you knew what to say?
The brilliant bit was I actually just said, Nan, can you just say whether it was good or bad? And she went on that whole spiel like she was media trained. Like she
That was so articulate.
It was perfect. And I was just like, Nan, just say, just say whether
Thumbs
it was crap
up,
or
thumbs
not.
down.
And she's gone on to that. So, Nan.
Love it. That was so
Thank you
good.
very much. I know.
Hey, mic drop. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
mic
it.
drop,
Yeah,
speechless. No, so yes, we do have listeners out there who are listening along, even though they're not interested in the property market.
Hopefully Nana likes this week's episode because I'm pretty excited about the guest we've got on today.
Yeah, so we did mention last week that we've got a very special guest. So we've got Stefan from 121 Displays, I believe it is.
That's correct.
Yeah, so a guy from Victoria who runs a business.
And, for all us locals, I think, we've all been stuck inside because it's absolutely been bucketing down with rain. So if in the instance you still wanted to try and develop your floor plan and experience it, where would you go if you're stuck inside? Well,
I really like that, John. Why don't we just jump straight into an ad break and then get him on the line while we do it?
please do before I say something wrong.
Let's do this.
All right, cheers.
414 Real Estate has been operating within the northern suburbs of Hobart since 2006 with their innovative approach to marketing and managing your property. They have all your property needs covered. Find out more by visiting them today at 414.com.au.
That's right, guys. We're joined by our guest today, Stefan from 121 Displays. He has been kind enough to join us and he's been more professional than the rest of us this morning. Welcome to the show, Stefan.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
No, thank you for jumping on board. We fought through our technical difficulties as we always do, and I'm sorry to disappoint, but I don't have my world famous beanie on this morning.
I know, very. I brought mine along just to. It doesn't have the history that yours does, but I brought mine along to show off, and I'm very. Yeah, I'll have to come back on just to see the beanie.
Look at the disappointment in your face too. It's just, Stefan, you were ready for that, and second Aaron said,
was.
no, like, no. Just
I was
disgraceful.
The funny
hand knitted and everything. Yeah.
the funny bit was we did a meeting the other day via Zoom, and I think the guys were a bit off-putting because I had my beanie on, and they were like, "Oh, this is a casual meeting. This isn't an official." And so it got in the back of my head. I was like, "Oh, maybe I need to be more professional if we're having an official guest on." But it's actually backfired on me. But
I just go with it.
yeah, jumping into your side of things, why we got you on is you're an app developer and you kind of work in
The AR space.
yes.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't call myself a developer. I've got some much smarter team members than I doing that kind of stuff. We just
That's all Steve Jobs did.
Yeah, manage the show. We, my wife and I, are the co-owners of One-to-One Displays,
Yep.
Which is a floor plan projection company down here in Melbourne, Victoria, and a fantastically Australian innovation that's come about over the last 10 or so years, and it's just been so awesome to see something refreshing in the real estate industry and something that's Australian and we haven't borrowed from anywhere else in the world. So really awesome to be part of that. And what we do is we've got a large facility, it's a large warehouse studio in Melbourne, in Mulgrave in Victoria, and we've got projectors. We're hanging them from the ceiling, and they project down onto the floor in one-to-one scale. Hence the name. The floor plans that our customers bring to us. So, yeah, they're able to walk through their plans, check for any changes or expectations, and get everyone on the same page between the builder, the architect, the homeowner. And it's good for new builds, and it's good for commercial, as well as anyone potentially buying off the plan in an area they can't travel to, so perhaps overseas or whatnot. So
It's
gives
Do you have anyone that has like their beloved family couch that they lug it down to the warehouse to see how it's going to fit in the new build?
Not yet. We do that for our commercial clients where we organise some furniture for them. But no one's lugged it in. But we encourage the families to bring in their kids and bikes, rollerblades, whatever. We've got a lovely open area, so it's fairly safe, and you can just ride around. It's pretty good. So
awesome. Yeah. Teach your kids to ride through the house.
Yeah, your kids.
That's it.
But that's the thing.
Do it now, not later.
And that, like, to reiterate too, because it's not about you're sitting at a desk walking through it. You're not looking at it from a computer. You're physically in a giant warehouse, and
Correct.
You're walking through your home on the floor
Yes,
plan.
correct. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
and it's
that's so cool.
I think that's a really cool idea, because I know my wife Abby, when we built in the past, she couldn't get a feeling for the floor plan. She really struggled to understand the sizing and how the place was going to work. So the ability to actually see it at life size, I think that's really cool.
So
absolutely.
Going back to the start, where was the catalyst for kind of this warehouse space with the one-to-one designs, and then I guess moving forward, because I know what really captured our attention was this app that you sent through to us.
Absolutely. So having that warehouse and having the customers come through, the natural thing, we've got furniture and we've got some walls and things like that we push around, but the natural thing is people want to see that in, where's my full kitchen setup, where's my full bathroom setup, and things like that. And we have an elevation screen that does a great job at that, and we wanted the ability to take that experience away as well. So that's when we got into one-to-one AR and built the app so that people could take that experience away, have a floor plan walkthrough, so the app is able to project onto any surface. So the idea is you do this in a large living room, a park, a basketball court, anything open and flat and fairly clear.
Yeah.
Or on the block that you've just bought.
Or on the block that you just bought. That's actually the main intention of it. But yeah, so if it's safe to do so, of course, to go onto the block. Sometimes it's not. So get out there, open up the app, hold out. Typically, it's an iPad. Hold it out in front of you, and it will project the floor plan. And then it has a lock function, and the floor plan is in one-to-one scale as well. So you're able to walk through that floor plan as you would as if you're back in the warehouse. From there, we've built on top of that a 3D function. So you're able to hit a button, and a 3D model of your home will pop out of the ground, and it's also in one-to-one scale, and it's also locked. So it's I suppose we took a spin on your traditional what people may be used to seeing, a virtual reality or a 3D model on a computer screen, and you're manipulating that with a mouse, or for example a real estate walkthrough with a 3D camera. And it's placed in different positions in a home, and you're able to click through the orbs, let's call them, and then once you're on an orb, you can look around in 3D space. So this has it's very similar to that, but less restrictions. So you're able to hold your iPad up, and your perspective will change as if you're a taller person, or if you're a shorter person, you can hold your iPad down and look under things, look over things, look around things. You don't have to stop at any particular spot and look around from there. You can literally just walk around and repeat. And so it's easy to use. It's just free download, and you enter a code. And we designed it for that, so the ability to take that experience home, because coming to an appointment, looking through the warehouse is fantastic, and you're able to stand across from your partner, which is something the app can't do. So you're able to stand opposite ends of the room and physically get a feeling for that space.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the best next thing to take that home and work through it was the app. And of course, we're only in Melbourne at the moment, and we want to be able to use this for our other clients around the world, and or Tasmania, of course.
Yeah,
So is it kind of like the Pokemon Go of real estate apps?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You're out there in the open space, walking around with your iPad.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, that's it.
I was having a fiddle with it yesterday, so I was kind of going into research what we were looking into, and I had my phone out in front of me in the office space, and luckily Pat's renovated, so it's quite open. And I think
It was Martin, I think, saw you and was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm often filming things for the media side of the company, and so I'm kind of standing there, and it made me look like I was filming a video of the team, so everyone's kind of getting out of my way. I'm like, oh, no, don't worry, guys. I'm in a laundry at the moment. So I was in the laundry in the AR, and, I was loving it. I thought it was such a good idea, and it was really simple to use once I'd placed it flat on the ground. It was
because we played with another one a while back, and it just didn't work for us, did it?
No, we tried really hard to make it work.
So it was refreshing to see that yours was so user-friendly compared to some of the others that are in the marketplace.
Oh, thank you for saying that. We went to a UX developer designer to look at the app, and big shout out to Mark Gregory, who's our UX guy from smudgeable.com. I akin it to trying to sell a house without a proper agent. So trying to sell a house yourself. So we try to do this app in-house and try to think, oh yeah, we'll make this easy to use, and there'll be a tab, and you just enter a code, and then you give it to a professional UX designer, and Mark just like, oh guys, what are you doing? This is not. So thank you for saying it's user-friendly, because version 2's coming out, and it's going to be a lot more user-friendly.
So, obviously you want to garner, as you say, you're only in Victoria, so you want to try and grow the brand and grow the company bigger. So the idea of an app, I think, is so interesting, because, like you say, 5-10 years ago, that wouldn't have been even a concept. Like you've built kind of a bricks and mortar workplace, but now you're like, oh, how can we expand this into the new world? Like, who was the innovator of kind of like, yeah, let's branch out? Was it you or your wife, or?
Yeah, a bit of both, and a bit of just listening to your customers, and just seeing that people wanted to see all the walls. So, the app works obviously inside the warehouse. So if you have the floor plan projected, you can hold the app in front of it. And we listening to our customers and building it from there. They want to see all their walls, want to see all their things in 3D, and they I think there was a bit of because it's such a new product, the floor plan projection thing, there was a bit of misconception about what it was. So people come into the warehouse and are like, oh, it's flat with real furniture on top. Oh, we thought it was, and we're like, yeah, we've got the wall and things, and it's good, but I think they thought it was going to be like, I think Hollywood's just ruined this for all of us. They walk in, they think it's like going to be a full 3D thing, but and the app to an extent has created that. So we were tossing up between goggles to do the standard kind of VR thing with the goggles and whatnot, but it's found that to be not where we wanted to go. The goggles are fantastic, and the technology there is really good. Obviously, very well developed in the gaming industry and so forth over the years. But we figured it wasn't what we were going for. We wanted something that could be taken home easily, used easily offsite, and it didn't need tech to set it up and slide your phone in here and press go and orientate yourself this way. So just trying to make it not that VR is difficult to use. I'm just not slaying VR or anything.
I get. Well, the thing is where I think where you said didn't want to take it, and what I'm getting from that is in the VR space or coming to your warehouse, it has to be oriented and worked in a very, very specific way, which it currently, if to go down that road exclusively, would have made it very difficult for people to be able to take it home because they're chucking on these giant sets. Whereas the idea with just having that computer, and we're looking at those videos where you can scope it out in the land and quickly use it, is a much, I guess, faster way to market. It's going to be much more accessible because people already have that stuff, and they're not going to be bumping into trees and walking onto streets and roads. Because the thing is that in your warehouse it can be very controlled, whereas where you wanted to do it in people's lounge rooms, you can't. So
That's right.
And then I think
a lot of bad publicity if you have people getting hit by cars using your app and whatnot. So
It doesn't really do much for
not good for business.
and it's not to say, obviously, I know there was like this leaked Apple technology with new glass that they're coming up with. It's not to say it's going to evolve further again, but you're really recognising the potential of the market right now with what people are using right now, and you're organically changing based on the technology that's available to you. And I suppose where I think it's really exciting, where you saw that vision originally, where it had to be this giant plot of real estate in order to set up the projectors, knowing full well that down the road you'd like it to evolve. But I guess it's funny you say that people's expectations, because they're watching Hollywood, were expecting it was going to be now, whereas look, guys, give us a little bit of time, please.
Yeah. That's right. Now, look, it's an ever evolving market. We're just absolutely blessed to be part of it, and thank God we found the right team and the right partners to get us where we are, and we're obviously really proud and continue developing for it. And the minute that holograms come out, we'll be right onto it. So
get 2-pack in there.
Well, and just out of curiosity too, I mean, if people are looking to do this kind of stuff, what sort of I know, like if you're to get real estate photos, for example, you get photos and a floor plan for $260, and they'll measure out the house. You work with the draftsmen, architects, and things scale up in terms of different expenses. Like, what are the sort of the costs that people could expect when they're trying to utilize this experience?
Yeah, so we kept it really reasonable. So we around the $500 mark, we'll get you a model, a little bit more than 500 if it's a larger home, and a little bit less if it's a smaller home. So it's kind of per square meter of design, as you would be aware with kind of a rendered image or that kind of stuff. So we kept it quite cheap because we know that renders and 3D renders and whatnot can skyrocket in price. So we kept it reasonable, good entry level to the market, but in that we focused on size and scale. So we're not trying to go into full renders with every piece of furniture exactly what you want. Yep. They're predominantly more empty rooms with very basic furniture, and the idea is that the room is the right size. You can take the correct number of steps to get from room to room, and if you were on your block of land, windows at the right height, the right elevation, you can see your kitchen layout there. And the idea is you can look out your kitchen because it's augmented reality and you can see what the view would be, which is something that no other service provides. I mean, how about if your kitchen window is looking straight into the next door's bathroom?
Absolutely.
I mean, how do you get that perspective anywhere else? So that's what we focused on, kept it cheap for that reason. But it can absolutely, like we've had customers that have gone, no, I want the full color package. Obviously, that costs more because it's more development time, but it can do that and fully scope it out and put the marble bench tops on and the parquetry floor. I was going to say parquetry ceilings.
Yeah. Hey, if that's what they want,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lamborghini in the driveway, all the normal stuff that our customers want. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a good point, because 90% of the issue, I think, always comes from when people can't get perspective on where they're moving to. So then once you've established, then, okay, here's the, what does it mean to have a 4x4 bedroom? And then they can have that experience. And then if you're like, okay, great, now where do you want to take that? And they can come back to you guys and go, right, let's start adding some extra things onto this, please. I really want to get stuck into it. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's been the experience with the warehouse walkthroughs or people from the app, the users of the app. They're able to take, obviously the warehouse just, take a photo and take notes of what you want to change. In the app, there's a function to be able to snapshot what you're looking at. And then share that with your builder and architect. Like, obviously, we're not builders or architects and don't claim to be at all. We're just we're an audiovisual company that's built a service and some software to be able to support that service. So the misinterpretation, we have a passion for building. Me and my wife and I built a couple of homes, and we've been lucky enough to go through that process. But I tell you, it's nerve-wracking when you're doing a custom home that you haven't been able to visit a display home for, or be able to visit a lookalike or something like that, and then you're signing on a dotted line and it's you either get it or you don't. And you can tell that, I mean, we haven't been lucky enough to build with an architect, but say a draftsperson sitting across from me is like, yeah, no, this is, 4x4 is a great size and you'll be fine. And the hallway's, 3 meters wide. It's like, yeah, okay. And it's like, well, hold on. Then you live in it. It's like, why do I have a 3 meter hallway? That's such a wasted space.
Yeah.
So, it's such a focusing tool because you're in one room at a time as you normally would. You're not looking at the whole floor plan all at once because naturally as humans we will go to the parts of the house that we're most passionate about. So the kitchen, the garage, the studio, the workshop, that kind of thing, and go, yeah, that's the right size, and step out those areas. And then we completely overlook a hallway or a pathway into a powder room or how wide your stairs are. Are you going to be able to get that couch up the stairs? And all those just pure functional aspects of that make that fantastic kitchen that you put so much effort into work is sometimes, I mean, obviously there are fantastic architects and builders out there that know and will pick up these things for their clients. But we're not about finding faults. We're about making sure everyone's on the same page. And is it it's right for your architect, but is it right for you? It's right for your builder, but is it right for you? And that's what's come out of this. So yeah.
Well, it's this exceptional communication tool between the builder, the architect, and the client, because all of a sudden, like you said, everyone can visualize things at a different capacity, a different level of understanding. So then once you can integrate and have this, walk through, is it all of a sudden I'll just take it back to the client experience, who's ultimately the one who's paying for the service, is that then they can go, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about here. Or the architect can go, like, they've done exactly what the client said, but the client just had no idea what they really wanted. And they go, oh, hang on a minute. No, this is not what I wanted at all. Start again, because now they're getting to live that experience rather than just conceptualizing it in their mind. They can actually walk through it, touch it, feel it. And you've just created a whole new way of communicating with this industry and these people that we've just never had access to before.
Yeah. Lucky to be going along for the ride. Blessed and lucky to be going for a ride. So yeah, no, it's good. And, it's been like, I mean, not to get too much into the marketing spiel, but like, the environmental aspect. And once, if you move a hallway wall or a load bearing wall mid-build, the costs are attributed to the
it's brutal.
To that. Oh, it's absolutely. And you can't recover that material. So the environmental aspect, that most of that stuff goes back into the skip. So there's a lot that's coming out of it, and where we hope to see this become standard, of course. Throughout, anyone building anywhere, it's just like, oh, have you done a walkthrough? Because it's, I mean, you can get into our warehouse for a walkthrough from under $400. So it's a very cheap insurance policy to, check this, couple of $100,000 build that you're doing is the correct thing for you. So it's that's what we call it, a cheap insurance policy.
I was only going to say, as you were describing that, it was like for a cost like that, it's like having insurance out on like, oh, do I really want to invest all this? And then I think I saw on one of your videos, were you on Sunrise or something like that at some stage where you had the queen size bed that you could wheel into the thing. And I showed my partner that, and she said, oh yeah, one of our bedrooms we thought would fit a certain size bed, and then it's got to be, oh, that's the kids' room now because it won't fit the big bed. But it's an insurance policy to state, oh yeah, let's go buy that awesome bed you want, honey, and oh no, it's not going to fit.
Well, the other thing too is it might, on your measuring tape, it might fit queen size, but then not your bed frame and the other peripherals and everything else that comes with just that bed as well.
Indeed.
Well, we're very lucky. The other day, so through building our warehouse, we wrote software that runs the warehouse. So our warehouse is controlled by an iPad as well. And the software takes in the people's plans, and the customer's plans is able to automatically project at 1-to-1 scale. And we create the views in the stack for our staff to be able to just click through the different views that the customer wants to see. But through that, we've developed software that is able to draw objects on the ground. So we literally the other day had a guy come in and ask for a skate ramp in his backyard, and he's like, avid skater, wanted to see if it was going to fit, and it was in feet, so we had to do quick conversions between feet and meters, and worked it out. But we were able to draw. It was just a grey box, but it was the size of the skate ramp, and whilst we have furniture, you can't have everything, and people want different dining tables or a pool table or swimming pools. That's a big one as well. People want to see if what size swimming pool will fit in the backyard. So we project the whole site layout obviously it doesn't fit in our warehouse, so we shift it back. We're able to shift everything around and show the backyard, and then draw that swimming pool, spa, whatever it is in the back. So all of those digital tools, everything we can do to help the client get as close as possible to being comfortable signing before they before they sign, before they pull the trigger. So yeah,
I know you've always mentioned, John, you've wanted to have a bookcase where you pull out the book and it takes you to a secret
Oh
room.
yeah.
I reckon that's something we could work out.
I'll be there in 6 months. Don't you worry. 2 weeks.
done.
Well, you just reminded me of this story. A good friend of mine, he's he manager at one of the department and appliance stores, and one of their guys who helps in the storehouse, he's been there forever, and he just knows, is that thing going to fit in the car? And they'll be like, oh, what have you got? Because I think I bought a stove. I said, I've got a Tucson. He said, yeah, no, you'll be fine. But he was telling me this one experience where this client, he just said, no, mate, it's not going to fit. And because the other bloke was starting to get his back up, he's like, well, I just wanted to try. It's like, no, it's not going to fit. And then so it ended to have a bit of a tension, and he was arguing with his staff member because the staff member was like, no, it's not going to fit. It was like, yeah, but that's not the point. The customer just wants to have a crack at getting it to fit. He said, yeah, but it wouldn't fit. So he's like, no, you're missing the point. He just needed to try. He's like, yeah, but it's not going to fit. So effectively what you're doing though is that for those people who, even in the end, everyone could just say, mate, it's not going to fit, you've been an idiot. There are just some people that need to try. And for a very small investment, they can figure it out. They realize, oh, that's not going to fit. Okay, cool. No, it's definitely not going to fit. We told you that already. But at least with yours, they didn't go down the road of buying a block, building a house and going, oh, I made a mistake.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
A long way to get to that story.
I was going to say, maybe a certain co-partner of mine, co-founder of this company, might be one of those people that have to try before they buy, but I can't say that. I'll get fired. So,
to me, it seems that once the more accessible you can make this, it just, in my mind, it'd be like you would not use it. Especially with that barrier to entry, like you said, $400 or $500 just to start. It's like I would not use it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It's really clever. And then just this idea of being able to access it on your phone, like everything these days is. We've just had a newborn. You might have heard listening to the podcast.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. But the amount of times I'm checking things on the phone to be like, is this that? Like, if I could check whether my house is going to be the right size, the same way I check whether the milk should be warmed in the microwave or with hot water. Perfect. I love it. Yeah, I guess the only thing we were going to cover off again with the future of kind of one-to-one displays would be, where do you see it going, 5 years from now? Is it kind of a completely digital company, or will there always be a bricks and mortar space?
Yeah, look, we've got customers that do both. Like, most of our customers will do a walkthrough and then take on the app option as well as a take-home feature. So the feedback that we've gotten from our customers and trying to listen to them, it's the fact that you can physically touch and feel a bed inside a space, and we have the rolling walls, and you can enclose a bedroom and sort of stage it, so to speak, with our really basic furniture. We've got to get better furniture. That has its own merits, and you're able to walk around the bed and then stand opposite your partner, opposite sides of a room, and physically walk it through. Has one thing, but then in the app, you have the ability to see the walls, and we've had because you can use this. It's unlike goggles; you can use as many people as you want on different iPads in the warehouse at the same time, and we don't limit how many times you use the app or whatever. Like, once you've got a code, you can just keep using it and as many different devices simultaneously if you wish. There's no trouble there. So you have different people holding, members of the family holding up their iPads, walking around. So it's different. Yeah, you get different things out of both, and they complement each other quite well, thankfully. So it's really good. As far as where we see ourselves, I mean, we're trying to make this, working to try to make this part of the standard process. So educating the public that this kind of service exists. Very lucky that there's now walkthrough floor plans in Perth. We're in Melbourne. We're in Sydney. Like the concept, we don't obviously own these companies, but fantastic that it's available. There's not one in Tassie yet. We one-to-one displays actually build centres as well, and we sell the software that runs the centres. So anyone keen on running a centre in Tassie, we're all ears. But yeah, so we see this as being part of the process because, like we said, when going through our own experience with just signing on the dotted line, just after seeing just a floor plan on paper, it was nerve-wracking. And for like the first time we built, it was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're always adding features to the app, so like color selectors, things like that will come naturally as to catch up with the standard VR kind of thing. Augmented reality is trailing VR in general. Like it's a technology it's both have been around for like surprising long time, but building extra features into being able maybe to swap out a couch, things like that inside the app.
We were only having a conversation the other day. Are you all over kind of? You mentioned gaming before. You're over like the Unreal Engine and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, our app actually uses Unity.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So
if you've ever opened a 3D file on like out of an AutoCAD or something, you know how big it is and how long it takes to load.
Yeah.
So we have to build, and everyone that's working in the space is building in Unreal or Unity to be able to allow an iPad to process this home that's massive that quick. So
that makes sense.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was just as we were kind of discussing this through our little Slack channel, I've sent through to John this ArchiViz footage I'd found of this Unreal Engine, and it you could change the furniture with the click of a button, and just looking at the render, it was just like, oh my god, this is photoreal. This is absolutely amazing. Like it just blew me away. And then you've kind of run with it and just been like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and started being like, this is way better than following Lara Croft through
her old mansion in Tomb Raider 1 and 2. but that's the thing, like if you're lazily looking at it, you would not realise that you were looking at a like video game.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
But I guess I was just thinking like, because I've been talking to Pat, like I do the 3D scans everywhere, and I'm just like, there's got to be some way of taking this data, plugging it into something, and being able to actually walk through it. Like there's all of it there. There's got to be a way. So I was like, there's got to be a perfect marrying of all this together.
And I think that's what will be exciting to see that comes in the years to come.
Yeah.
I think like we use the Matterport camera here in the office to do our scans of our properties. And we were listening to their CEO a couple of weeks ago in an online conference he was doing, and talking about how he's going to unlock it so that any developer can come and add their own plugins into a Matterport scan. So I think that whole space is going to get really exciting over the coming years with what you guys are doing, what they're doing, and how people will be able to actually interact with buying a property in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going to go nuts, and
hopefully
being able to bring down. Sorry.
Hopefully, I won't have to leave my office in a few years' time. I'll just be able to say,
That's the whole point.
Here you go.
That's the scary side of it. So at least our app's you got to get up and walk around. So at least we're doing something there. It's a bit physical, but no, it's going to be nuts. And that was always a big challenge for us, and still is. How realistic do you make it versus how affordable it can be? Because you can spend $4,000 on a single still image render, and it's just like, who's going to be able to afford that? So you've got to be able to get it out there in the market and have that offering, but not necessarily be that's where we start and go up from there. It's like we wanted to basically go, all right, well, here's a kind of a grey model. The one you saw would have been the hotel room, I think.
That's it.
Yeah. So no. So it's it's a balance, but that being able to even do this 5 years ago would have cost a ridiculous amount of money. So we're already seeing these progressions in the technology, the APIs being opened up between different things, building up some sort of engine to be able to take a file from a 3D camera and plonk it into a 3D app. That's going to take some coding, but it's.
I've said to Pat, I said I've got no idea how to do it, but we need to go to like your UX guy or somebody that can do it, and just be like, here's my idea, do it. And
but wasn't that part of what that thing we watched about? Was it the LD? Is it LIDIR or LIDIR or something? So then the camera,
LiDAR.
So then so your camera would just have the lasers effectively, and so that's going to do what you wanted it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new iPads come out with that. How exciting! I just watched a guy develop. So he's got the iPad and he's put his Braille kind of iPad case, and the LiDAR's measuring what's around him. And as you walk around for a blind person, so you hold the iPad out in front of you, and the Braille pokes on the fingers where objects are. So it pushes harder where it's an object in front of him in 3D space. and this is happening in real time.
Yeah.
And then you've got he's blindfolded his partner or whatever it was in the video, and they're holding it, and it's just they're walking around in 3D space, and they're blindfolded, and it's just nuts, and they're missing things. And it was in his workshop. I'll send you a link to the video.
Yeah,
It's
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that's
incredible.
Poor
But
seeing
yeah.
eye dogs are going to go out of work. Labradors are going to be homeless.
No, they're just going to be happy that they can just sit there and eat.
Yeah, true. Now, do you have any other questions, Pat? Or
No, I've discovered I've been really quiet today. So just taking it all in, it's been interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, guys, I've been just talking too much. Usual apologies.
That's the purpose of a guest.
I am a massive nerd and I would love to be in your warehouse playing.
yeah,
So
I'm blown away with how quiet you were the whole time.
I want to own the centre here in Hobart now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
well, no, you're
afterwards.
welcome anytime you're in Melbourne. You're welcome to come down, and definitely next time. Victoria's the naughty little brother of all the states at the moment. We're pulling the team back. So as soon as we're allowed to travel again, I know we'll come say hello down to Tassie. I think.
Yeah, I'd love to say we'd rush over and visit, but we're probably not going to.
Yeah, then we'd be stuck for 2 weeks again.
Yeah, not right now. We're trying to sort things out. All good. No,
Thank you
appreciate
very
it, guys.
much.
Thank you very much.
It's been a real pleasure chatting.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you. No worries. Thanks, guys. See
We'll
ya.
be in touch.
All the best, Evan.
As a family-run business, First National Real Estate McGregor understands that the property market can be stressful. However, with a strong team in both sales and rentals, we are here to guide you through the property maze. Find out more today at mcgregorfn.com.
Well, that was a very fun conversation, even if I didn't say much.
Yeah, so I can't believe how blown away. Like, you just seem like a deer in headlights. You're just like, I can't talk. Were you like listening to like an idol or something? It's like a job that you want to have.
I just love tech and I love different things. And obviously we do so much new home construction here at our office. So his concept is so cool.
I reckon I could see your brain was just ticking over the whole time he was talking.
Like,
Just
I'm
visualizing
thinking,
in your head.
man, I want a warehouse somewhere.
I was gonna
in
say,
Moona. There's got to be a warehouse somewhere empty that I can open up one of these centres, because, like, just for a first-time buyer that wants to buy off a plan, like, I bring them into the office here, we put out the colour palette on the table, I show them the plan, and they're expected to make a $300,000 decision or a $400,000 decision in half an hour, looking at some bricks, a colour sample, which is the size of, 10 centimetres.
Yeah, and then when you expand that out
a
into
piece
like
of paper
what a house
that's
will look
A3,
like.
I'm like, and this guy's projecting it into a warehouse at the right size. It's just
And not only doing that, like John mentioned, you could be on your block that you've bought or you're planning on buying.
I hate it.
Well, look at Brighton Estate where those blocks of land are flat and they're trying to sell those houses out there with the 3D renders, like, your Cunic Homes, your Creative Homes or whatever the other companies are called out there. Imagine if they all went and got one of those on the iPad of that house.
Yeah.
And you could physically send the buyer to the actual block of land, which they haven't started construction on because they've got so much work on at the moment. And the buyer could walk all over that 700 square metre block of land.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I guess it's like building a spec home without building a spec home. Like, it's kind of, you go down to one of those places where they'll say, walk through here and you'll see the place. It's like, go to this empty vacant block and you'll see your future. You just have to.
And then you walk through your home. It's like, can you just remove that wall for me just to see what it's like? Because you can't just casually adjust a wall like 30 centimeters once you started. The foundation's done. That's it.
Yeah.
But just being able to say, how about we just change that a little bit? Could you do that for me? Like, very easy on the plan, re-render it, and then re-walk through your house the next day. And like, okay, that's it. That's what I want.
No, it was
So
really
cool.
cool. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Had nothing to say because I was in awe.
What we'll do is we will add into the show notes and add into some stuff the app, so it's 1-to-1 AR, and I'm sure Stefan will be fine with us popping through the codes that he sent through to us.
So you can have a play with it.
Yeah, so anyone out there that wants to can have a play with it. Nan, if you aren't playing Candy Crush, you can maybe have a go with this, even though you have said that you're not interested in houses at the moment. But, we'll just put it out there for you.
Let's just see what happens.
Just see what happens. Thanks, Stefan, for joining us on the pod. Good luck with all of that. And we'll be back next week with more Property Pod.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome.
See you, gentlemen.
See ya. You have been listening to The Property Pod, produced and edited by 414 Media House in conjunction with 414 Real Estate and McGregor First National Propriety Limited.
This podcast is general information only, and the thoughts and views expressed is the opinion of our panel, and listeners should always seek and use their own investigation into any topic we discuss to ensure they fully understand their own situation.
It does not constitute and should not be relied on as purchasing, selling, financial or investment advice or recommendations, express or implied, and it should not be used as an invitation to take up any agent or investment services. No investment decision or activity should be undertaken on the basis of this information.